Security hardening is a foundational, guys. It's a foundation. You might implement EDR, firewall, SIM, cloud, but there's no foundation. Security hardening is a foundation. All the security tools that you have invested, they must be hardened. They must be hardened. Manual approach is no longer scale. You cannot do that. Regulators are watching, of course. Threats are real, threats are growing. Okay. This is a real case study. Okay. It's a CISO of a bank is talking about it. One of our customer from Middle East region. Let me quickly, I'll try to run it through so that I don't waste time.
Customers, bodies, service companies, and corporate existing applications, and third, running the banking infrastructure, creating new applications, supporting existing applications, and third parties.
Now, this is important. What are the main important reasons for you to implement SecHard in your organizations? Hear it from a CISO.
Our first goal was security hardening, and the problem was that there were many types and versions of operating systems and network equipment. What we needed most was a solution that would provide security in the first place. SecHard takes security as the first consideration and consolidates different systems in one easy-to-manage user interface. To see different systems with their security grades all at once is a huge plus for us because it increases our cyber resilience. SecHard's brand-independent hardening, auditing, scoring, and improvement capabilities makes our life much easier. We can now measure and report the security level of our devices. We can harden the systems according to CIS benchmarks and PCI DSS processes. So a less experienced person can keep an eye on the security levels and can apply the remedies. And if requirements get more complex, then an issue is created and escalated to a more experienced technical person. This way, we can follow our security vulnerabilities on a daily basis.
Now, let's talk about regulations, okay?
In Turkey, prepared hardening scores on servers and network. The Digital Transformation Office audits, we prepared hardening scores on servers and network devices with SecHard, so we were able to provide a sound and reliable security report. After implementing the hardening tasks that SecHard recommended, the servers and network devices hardening scores were increased to 90%. That made us compatible with CIS and Digital Transformation Office standards easily. Deciding the best configuration and applying the configuration device by device is a very time-consuming and error-prone process. In the first place, SecHard classifies the devices by type and allows us to apply the decided hardening and security features accordingly. Classifying and automating the process by device type saves a lot of time.
Okay, all right. So this was a testimonial. How did he meet his compliance? Applying security controls according to CS device by device is a time-consuming process. Now, why security hardening is essential for CISOs to maintain a compliance? Like I said, PCI DSS recommends security configurations for all components. NIST talks about CM2, CM3, now CM6 mandatory compliance according to NIST. CIS, of course, it's built on the CIS is built for security configurations and hardening purpose. HIPAA, if you're from the healthcare, DISA is mostly for the defense, including RBI guidelines, RBI guidelines, because CIS is a global benchmark. Every local guidelines, country-wise guidelines talk about the security score of your assets, security score of all your devices. How do we help you guys? Like I said, eliminate the security configurations, a major attack vector. 80% of the attackers exploit us misconfigurations. How do we solve that problem? Automating systems hardening across endpoints, databases, servers, continuously monitoring, remediate in a real time. Protects you from the ransomware and from a zero-day risk. Protects you from the APT's advanced persistent threat, which exploit the unpatched vulnerabilities and excessive privileges. SecHard hardens configuration to block malware, reduces the privilege escalations, and prevents the lateral movement. Meet you all the regulatory compliances, whether it's ISO, NIST, PCI, HIPAA, SWIFT, GDPR, any compliance. Manual hardening is slow, error-prone, inconsistent. SecHard automates free your valuable time for your IT resources. Provide you centralized dashboard. Okay. These are the supported products. These are the integrations that we have done so far. These are the, anything that exists from 2003 onwards, we can do the hardening for those assets, those devices. Some of our example. Some of our customers, okay, state government customers, utility energy company, retail, manufacturing, logistics, banking and finance, Mubadala is from the Middle East, guarantees from the Europe. Sodexo is our global customer, mostly on the Europe side. We are on the Gartner peer site as well. Current rating is 20. Fully automated security hardening, fast and good reporting hardening level, automate your security and just relax. SecHard gives you peace of mind. A real case study, this is a utility company, energy company. They have 2,500 different assets. When we went to their office, we scanned their entire network. And when we did the audit and review, we found all their servers were only 22% hardened. That their security score was only 22% hardened according to CIS benchmark. After implementing SecHard, doing the audit again, we found we hardened their servers to 90%. Firewalls from 25% to 85%. Switches from 23% to 94%. Routers from 20% to 98%. So this is how we increase the hardening score for this customer. And same thing, we can do it for you as well. Okay, let's focus on cyber hygiene, not just on a detection. SIM tools are detecting the vulnerabilities. Hygiene, it protects you from those vulnerabilities. Aligned with the government and global benchmarks. SecHard, secure by design, secure by default. So all the attendees here, I'm going to give you a free POC for 20 assets, 15 days. Do take the advantage of we offering a no obligation POC. We identify 20 assets, we identify their score, we do an entire POC. We recently completed a POC for 2 large insurance companies in Mumbai, one of 2 largest, and we another POC that we are about to complete in Pune area as well. There are at least 9 to 10 POCs that we're currently running. So if you want to take the advantage of this no obligation POC, do reach out to the Metonic team and we can do a one-on-one call and we can help you take the advantage of do a free POC and see by yourself how many misconfigurations are left and how can we do the remediations. So that's it from my side, and I'm happy to see if there's any questions or maybe we can take the questions later. Now, let me show you the product in real time. I would like to invite my esteemed colleague, my Chief Product Officer, Mr. Jihad. So Jihad, this is our first webinar for Indian territory. So over to you. Let's focus on from the scratch and talk about the importance of hardening and how do we in real time.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for the great introduction and the presentation. I will be sharing my screen and I will walk you the process of reviewing and remediating the issues identified by our platform. Then we will see how we can increase the security posture of an organization quickly. So let's get started. I guess my screen should be visible right now. Of course, before getting started, we have to know there are some prerequisites for preparing the environment, and one of them is preparing the entire inventory. Because platform is agentless, so we perform all these assessments over the network protocols as Ben mentioned before. And in order to prepare the inventory, we have a couple of different options. One of them is manually preparing the inventory. So we can use the link here. So this is only used for testing mostly, but there are a few fields worth mentioning. So that's why I'm showing right now. Let's say we have a server and it's a Linux server, and let's say it's a Debian 11. After typing the IP address here, server, and here you can see the important fields worth mentioning. This is the one actually we will be using as part of our security assessment. So as I said, it's a network-based assessment, and for this kind of asset type, it will use SSH protocol, and those are the default ports. And lastly, we have to provide a credential or account in our terminology. We can either use existing accounts or we can create one from scratch. And when we try to create, we will see the couple of different authentication types here. We can use local accounts, Active Directory accounts, private keys, and API keys, or we can even use a third-party tool for storing our secrets. And whenever they are required, platform can go and fetch the relevant secrets and use as part of the security assessment. And after configuring these fields, platform will quickly perform an assessment on the asset, and we will see the security results like you can see on the right-hand side. So this is a DHCP server, and based on the last assessment, its security score is 21. If we want to see the details, we can click on this number, and we can dive into details and see what kind of gaps identified and how we can fix them. And the last assessment was performed yesterday. Here you can see that. And it was based on CIS benchmark version 3. And here you can see the other benchmarks available. So we are not limited to CIS only. So we can use other benchmarks. We can make some customizations on CIS, or we can create a completely new benchmark based on our requirements, and we can perform the assessment accordingly. Now, I think the first thing to notice, we have 85 items are compatible with the recommendations coming from CIS benchmark, and more than 300 items are listed as incompatible items. And if we want to see the incompatible items, we can put a filter for failures. And now list is only showing the gaps or failures in other terms. If I want to expand one of these sections, let's say I have some printer related gaps and I want to fix one of them. So let's pick this one as our example. Whenever I want to fix an issue, I need to click on this button. There are two options. One is showing the details of this fix. So if I press on this button, platform has generated the fix on the fly based on the target system's specifications, because platform knows it's a Windows server and by default, its scripting language is PowerShell. And if I press on Run button, platform will prepare the script and push it through the network, and it will be executed remotely. After collecting the results, we will see if it's verified and successfully executed. And now we can see the output from this execution. Whenever I close this pop-up page, so let's take this number. Now system will try to verify, and if you noticed, it's been removed from the list because it's not a gap anymore. After re-verification, we can see now it's listed as a compliant item. So we can understand that from this green check mark. sometimes, if something goes wrong, it is always possible to revert these kind of changes. So I can click on the same button. Since the platform knows the previous state, we can always revert these kind of remediations. I can press on the same button. Now, system is preparing the rollback and pushing it through the network protocol. And here you can see, again, it's been executed successfully. As soon as I close this pop-up page, you can understand this from this loading bar. Now it is trying to verify the current state. So probably this will go back to warning sign. And we can, here you can see we have quickly closed a gap. Then after closing, we reverted the change and applied a rollback option. And we can do the same thing for multiple items, because when we imagine if we have to fix all these issues one by one, it will take some time. So instead of doing that, we can pick the entire section title from this list. Let's say I want to fix all the printer related issues in a single step. I can trigger a bulk remediation. I can include all the items, or I can make some modifications. Again, maybe I can exclude some of them. And if I go next, so it will be possible to fix all these issues at once. And we have also a couple of different options. We can either schedule it. So instead of executing and fixing all these issues right now, we can schedule it for another time, especially useful when there is a change window for the organization. Or we can save it as a template and reapply the same thing on other resources. This is also quite useful because when we start our journey, probably after testing this kind of remediations on a testing asset, then we will move it to production systems. And this will be useful in this case. Or I can directly run the entire set of selection, like 10 commands will be executed on this machine and everything will be closed. And after like increasing this or after applying this kind of remediations and everything, we can also keep track of the progress from this part. We can quickly see its security score or hardening score. So it's shown historically here on this chart. So the day it was part of our inventory till the date. So those are the changes. And if we want to see more details, we can use our system event section. And there you will see what kind of event happened and triggered by whom. So this was an example. So as an administrator user, I executed and applied a remediation. And this was the remediation we applied on this resource. And similarly, we applied a rollback operation, again, on the same resource. And this information also can be exported to third-party applications such as SIEM tools or other tools. And if we want to see the overall security posture of our organization, we can use existing dashboards. And one of them is security dashboard. And based on different security related scores, we can see monthly averages. And this is also showing us the security scores of different asset types. So like we have some firewalls, switches, or servers. If we click one of these bars, let's say we have some firewalls. If I click on this bar, now it is showing the different firewall brands and their average scores. If I click one more time, for instance, we have two Fortinet firewalls and their average is 46. And if I click one more time, we can see the different families because the security configurational related recommendations are different from version to version. So that's why we have we make a differentiation between different resource families. And this is how we can quickly identify the security hardening related issues. And this is how we can fix the issues quickly from our platform. Of course, there are some more details, so we can configure it as per our recommendations or requirements. So instead of giving access all the resources, we can have two distinct roles. One can be performing the audits and can see the results of the assessments, and we can create another role for triggering the remediation. So the platform is quite flexible on this sense. And this is how we can configure it from the user management part. So we have some existing users, and we can create different roles. And one of the roles might be might be created for my Linux administrators, and I can assign the resources they will see as part of their operations. So here, how we can do that. So I can assign these 2 or 3 resources. Whenever someone logs in from Linux administrators group, they will only see the resources associated here, and they will have this kind of permissions. And here we can see the permissions defined for them. And if I want to see the hardening related permissions, so they have some read-only hardening related permissions. So whenever they log in, they will see the assessment results, but they are not going to be able to trigger anything from the platform. And this is how you can flexibly create the roles and assign users and control their permissions. That's all from the quick walkthrough. Then if you have any technical or other questions, I'm more than happy to answer. Ben, would you like to take any of these questions, or how should we go on? I have some questions. I can see some questions on the chat.
Yes. Yeah. So should we start with the question?
I think we can start. And Ben, if you are there and want to take any of these,
Okay.
or I can also take.
Okay, thank you, sir. So actually, we got first question from RB. So he has a question like, how do organizations see that they are misconfigured?
I can take that question. As you have seen in my example, when we prepare our inventory, our platform performs a quick scan and identifies all the gaps, and they will be misconfigured items. And they will be displayed on the dashboards, or you can get them through the reports. And this is how we can like generate this kind of report or information.
Okay, I hope RB, your question is answered. And if you have any like more questions or question regarding the same, so you can simply drop it in the chat box. So second question we have from Ankur sir. So he's asking, do you have a patch management as well?
Let me also answer that question. I mean, patch management can be considered as 2 different things. One is related to security hardening operation. As you have seen in my example, when we identified a gap, we also patched the gap, or we call it as remediation, and fix the issue. So this can be considered as a patch, as part of the patch management process. But there is another one which is mostly confused with vulnerability management, or maybe as part of the vulnerability management process. Let's say we have a well-known exploit in a binary, and there is a patch released for that. So this can be also considered as part of the patch management. Actually, we have both on our platform, but hardening is a lot more advanced than vulnerability related patch manager, because vulnerability management related patch management has been under development for a while, but it will be released soon. So we have both, in short. And one is quite advanced and used by many customers. The other one is under development and will be released soon.
Okay. So actually, I have a question from him again. So he's asking, breach and simulation attack also find configuration problems. What is the difference between SecHard solution and simulate?
I'm not familiar with the simulate tool, but what I can tell you, as you can see, when we try to identify all the gaps related to security hardening related recommendations, we perform an authenticated network-based scan. So we will be going in that device and identifying all the issues by checking them one by one. I'm not sure if the attack simulation tools does the same thing, because if they are checking it from the surface, or they are just going into the device and checking every configuration available. So that might be the difference, because we check each and every configuration available there, and we identify all the gaps.
Okay, I think the question is answered for you, Uncle. And if you have any issues regarding the same, you can just simply drop your chat in the chat box. So we have another question coming from Akash Seth. So he's asking, how do you handle updates when CIS benchmark are revised?
We have a dedicated team working on the CIS benchmarks. As soon as they are released, actually, the team also starts working on them. Our release cycle is mostly 2 to 4 weeks, because we start also implementing them. We need to test them, and we also prepare the remediations, which is lacking in most of the products. And usually, as I said, it takes 2 to 4 weeks to release our new version addressing a new CIS benchmark.
So Akash, if you feel like the question is answered and you still have some doubts, you can simply drop your chat in the chat box. So I do have one question, like how do you recommend balance across the hybrid environments?
Yeah. The platform actually is deployed as an on-prem solution as our first option, but it can also work on cloud. And we can create a hybrid architecture if customer wants. As long as we have the network connectivity between the nodes, we can always scale it up. We can introduce another node, and if the network communication is possible between the nodes, so one of them can be put on the cloud, the other one can be placed as an on-prem, then as long as we have this connectivity between nodes, so it can handle this kind of situations.
Okay, one more question if you don't mind.
Yeah,
So I
please.
just wanted to know, what are the most common compliance gaps you have seen in the Indian enterprise attempting to Am I
Am I the
audible?
only? Your voice was breaking, Suhani.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
So I'm asking it again. I'm just asking,
Mhm.
what are the most common compliance gaps you've
Mhm.
seen in the Indian enterprise attempting to implement CIS and PCI DSS standards?
Mhm.
And
I mean, from technical point of view, I can tell you what we see most, but for the Indian market, maybe Ben, if you can take that question. And in our experience, the mostly we can see the account policy related items as gaps. So the recommendations are quite strict on that manner, because CIS or any similar benchmarks want you to configure your passwords as strong as possible, and your password history should be more than 24, and so on. There are multiple account policy related items, and those are the most common gaps we see in many customers.
okay, so I guess the question